Hello, friends. This is Dave Hurwitz, executive editor at ClassicsToday.com, here with fabulous concert programs number 31, which is number 3 in our series featuring the last 6 Haydn Mass settings, the Great Masses, as they're called, the culmination of his career as a composer of liturgical music, and the beginning of the era of the use of liturgical texts for secular concert purposes. Although Haydn's masses were, as we know, written for an actual liturgy, they quickly entered the repertoire as concert works, which is really what they are in the sense that musical and symphonic values take precedence over liturgical demands, which is a good thing if you're really into music. I mean, even Bach's B minor Mass would have been inappropriate as a liturgical setting, but it's amazing as a concert setting, although we don't even know that Bach ever intended that it be played in its entirety. It was a compendium, and so are Bach's Masses. They are both compendia of all the things that he felt he could do as a composer for chorus and orchestra, and also symphonic choral works. Amazing, amazing pieces. And number 3 is oh wow, holy Moses. It's the most famous of them all, the Nelson Mass, the Lord Nelson Mass in D minor. It's the only one in a minor key, and it's extraordinary in a number of ways. It was known in its lifetime as the Messe Bruyante, the noisy Mass, because Haydn's Masses were loud. They were full of trumpets and drums and excitement and just the energy level of this music for a guy who was, pushing 70 is really, really extraordinary. Unbelievable. And it has a glorious part for the soprano and an amazing, amazing setting of the Benedictus. A really scary setting of the Benedictus. Let me tell you why it's so amazing. The orchestration, the scoring of this Mass is remarkable because at the time that it was done, the Esterházy musical establishment did not have, this was during the Napoleonic Wars, did not have its full complement. And the wind players had been dismissed. And so Haydn was stuck using strings, organ, which he uses in a sort of concertante way in some respects, and 3 trumpets and timpani. And that's it. That's it. Now, subsequently, Haydn added parts for like flute, oboe, a couple horns, a couple oboes and a couple of horns. And after that, someone else, some publisher's hack or possibly his assistant, Sigismund Neukomm, added even more woodwind parts. But if you really want to hear it, you have to do the original version. And I am, you know me, right? I think it should be done with the largest possible forces in the composer's ideal setting. And if the composer added stuff himself, as Haydn did in this case, we should respect that. But there are always exceptions to the rules. And this is one of them. And the reason is because the sound of nothing but strings, organ, timpani, and trumpets is so perfect for the musical expressive content, especially the episodes in minor keys, like that Benedictus. It's really, really amazing. When you think about it, when you listen to that Benedictus, the chorus is going, Benedictus, qui venit in nomine Domini, and the trumpets and drums are going, bum, ba 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 bum, da 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 dun, da 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 dun, da 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 da. Really, really scary. And that particular setting, that moment, I think, had some remarkable resonance in later works, one of which is Beethoven's Eroica. In the Funeral March, when the trumpets are going bum, bum, ba bum, and underneath it the strings are going drum, 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 drum. That is it's not a crib. He's not stealing it, but the concept of that trumpet rhythm that on one note persists as stuff's happening around it. That's what Haydn does. The other really remarkable moment is the coda of the first movement of Bruckner's 8th Symphony, where the trumpets are going ba-dum, da-da, da-da, da-da-dum, da-da, da-da, da-da-dum. And underneath it, the orchestra's yo-do-do-do, ba-dum. It's exactly the same idea. It really is. And you hear it originally in Haydn's Nelson Mass. Whether they're all related, I can't prove, but the concept is similar. Anyway, so it's an absolutely glorious work, a phenomenal work. And how do we sort of program it? Well, it has to be the second half. It's really a all by itself second half kind of piece. It has to be a standalone piece. The first half, however, can be really fun, and that's what we have here. We start with a choral overture, Ernst Toch's Geographical Fugue. Oh God, I love the Geographical Fugue. I don't know if you know it, but there are certain works in the choral repertoire that choral singers know and that the rest of the public doesn't. And they should, because they are so much fun. The Geographical Fugue is only 5 minutes long. It's an overture. It's for spoken chorus. So they're talking. I mean, I did this when I was in my high school glee club. It's just great. And it's a fugue. It's a spoken fugue. The fugue subject is geographical, depending on what language it's in. It's a little different in German as opposed to English because you have to make the syllables fit the place names. But it's Trinidad and the big Mississippi and the town Honolulu and the Lake Titicaca. The Popocatépetl is not in Canada, rather in Mexico. Canada, Malaga, Rimini, Brindisi. Canada, Malaga, Rimini, Brindisi. Canada, Malaga, Rimini, Brindisi. Canada, Malaga, Rimini, Brindisi. Yes, Tibet, Yokohama, Nagasaki. Well, that's basically your fugue subject. And each section of the chorus comes in, in order, one after the other, and it works its way through the whole thing as a genuine fugue. Oh, it's fabulous. What a great concert opener it would be. What fun it would be. But nobody has fun at concerts. Fun is bad in the world of classical music. Fun is even worse in the world of choral music because most choral music is liturgical music, where fun is a big no-no. So, come on, let's do the Geographical Fugue. And then after that, we continue with Venezuelan composer Antonio Esteves, La Cantata Criolla, also known as Florentino, el que cantó con el diablo, or Florentino, the one who sang with the devil. This is a nationalist masterpiece cantata. It's only 30 minutes long. It's for two singers, a tenor and a baritone, and choir, and a big orchestra, and it's glorious. And it tells a folk tale of Florentino, who's a plainsman. He's a cowboy, essentially. He lives out on the plains, and he's by himself, and it's night, and the devil challenges him to a singing contest. And it's kind of like the riddle contest in Lord of the Rings, when in The Hobbit, when Bilbo meets Gollum and they trade riddles back and forth. Well, here they trade songs back and forth, and each singer has to take the last line of the previous person's challenge song and use it as the beginning of the response song. And they go back and forth like that. And Florentino keeps the devil going until the sun comes up, and he keeps him frozen in place by reciting the names of the saints at the end, and he wins. It's the triumph of good over evil. And the whole thing takes about 32 minutes. And you can see it on YouTube. There are several performances on YouTube, including the Eduardo Mata Symphony Orchestra Simon Bolivar recording that's on Dorian. And there's a fabulous Venezuelan tenor. His name is Idwer Alvarez, who's basically made a career singing this thing. He's in every one of these videos, just about. And so really, it's just a fantastic piece. There's a little bit of it, the end of it, the last 3 or 4 minutes of it with the Boston Symphony, where they also performed it. And it's becoming a little bit more popular since Dudamel took over in Los Angeles. It's in his repertoire, and he's programmed it. And there's a video with him doing it as well. So you can watch it, and I urge you to do it because it is a glorious, entertaining piece of choral music, and it makes a wonderful contrast to the Lord Nelson Mass, because the Nelson Mass is also the triumph of good over evil, the triumph of light, of major over minor. And so they do the same thing, although in totally different ways. The final singing duel is one of the most fabulous things in modern music because it's a samba version of the Dies Irae chant. The Dies Irae, do, 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 the Day of Judgment chant, which is the devil's song. Florentino also has a chant, but the Ave Maris Stella, but it's not as well known as the Dies Irae, of course. And the Dies Irae's got maracas going. It's cha-cha-cha-cha-cha-cha-cha, cha-cha-cha-cha-cha-cha-cha, cha-cha-cha-cha-cha-cha-cha-cha-cha. Oh, it's just marvelous. Marvelous. So that's your first half. Then you have intermission, and then you come back and you get bum 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 ba-da-dum bum 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 yum bum bum ba-da-dum bum 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 bum. Oh yeah, the Nelson Mass, and it's fantastic. This is such a great program. And the Geographical Fugue. I mean, it's more fun than anyone has any right to have. It really is. And the music is glorious, and some of it's new and fresh, and some of it is an acknowledged masterpiece, and you just can't go wrong. So that's the deal, my friends. I've noticed, by the way, that nobody watches these videos because no one's particularly interested in fabulous concert programs or Haydn masses, or both. Oh, it's your loss. I'm telling you. I mean, you're not watching, so you're not hearing me say this, but tell your friends. Get them into this stuff. Play this concert program at home. You're going to love it. So keep on listening, friends. Thanks for joining me. Take care.